When I won the medal I had dreamed of since childhood, I looked around for my father to share the moment, but he was busy praising someone else, and that day I understood pride is rarely given to the ones who deserve it most. I need to get this out. I need someone to know how badly I messed in a single moment of stupidity and pride. 3 months ago I won the Regional Engineering Innovation Award. 27 years old, youngest recipient ever. The kind of recognition I'd fantasized about since I was 8, building circuits in my dad's garage while he barely looked from his newspaper. Sarah was supposed to be there. My girlfriend of 4 years, the woman I was planning to propose to next month. She'd taken the day off work, bought a new dress, told everyone she knew about my big moment. But she got food the night but violent, couldn't leave the bathroom kind. I was devastated. This was my day. The day I finally proved I wasn't just another mediocre engineer grinding away at some corporate job. Go without me, she whispered from bed looking pale and miserable. Take pictures. I'll celebrate with when get home. I should have stayed. Should have realized that having someone who loved me unconditionally was worth more than any award. But pride is a hungry beast, and mine had been starving for recognition my entire. At the ceremony I sat alone at my assigned table, watched other winners hug their families, pose for pictures with their support systems. The empty chair next to me felt like a spotlight on everything I lacked. That's when I saw her. Emma Chen, lead developer at the startup that won the software category. Brilliant, successful, and sitting alone just like me. During the networking break she approached with 2 glasses of champagne. Congratulations on win, she said. I read about renewable energy storage solution. Revolutionary stuff. Someone finally understood my work. Someone who spoke my language, who got excited about the technical details that made Sarah's eyes glaze over. We talked for hours about innovation, about changing the world, about being underappreciated visionaries. She laughed at my jokes, made me feel clever, important, seen. My boyfriend doesn't really understand what I do, she admitted as the event wound down. Sometimes I wonder if I'm settling for someone who can't appreciate my ambitions. I nodded, thinking of Sarah asking when I'd be done with my projects, so we could watch Netflix. I get that. My girlfriend is sweet, but she doesn't really get the technical side of things. Maybe we should grab coffee sometime, Emma said. Talk more about our work. It's rare to meet someone who truly understands. Just coffee, just 2 professionals networking. That's what I told as I saved her number. That's what I told when we met 3 days later and talked until the cafe closed. That's what I told when she texted me at 11 p.m. asking if I was awake, and we ended messaging until 3 a.m. That's what I told when I started deleting our conversations so Sarah wouldn't see them. Sarah, who had made me soup when I was sick, who listened to my work stories even when she didn't understand them, who supported my dreams even when they meant long nights apart, who loved me when I was nobody special, when I had no medals or recognition to offer. But Emma made me feel like the genius I'd always believed I was. With her I wasn't just Sarah's boyfriend who worked too much. I was an innovator, a leader, someone destined for greatness. The emotional affair lasted 3 weeks before it became physical. 3 weeks of secret messages, deleted call logs and elaborate lies about working late. 3 weeks of telling I deserved someone who matched my ambition. The night it happened, Emma had invited me to her apartment to review some technical specifications. We both knew it was a lie. I knew it was a lie when I showered and put on cologne. I knew it was a lie when I texted Sarah that I had to work late again. I stood outside Emma's door for 10 minutes, key card to her building in my hand, knowing this was the moment that would define who I really was. I chose pride over love. I chose feeling special over being loyal. I chose the temporary high of being desired by someone, oppressive over the steady, honest love of someone who'd stood by me when I had nothing to offer but dreams. That night, while Sarah was at home planning our future and probably worrying about my long work hours, I weighed 4 years of trust, loyalty, and genuine love for a few hours of feeling important. I didn't know then that Emma was playing the same game with 3 other men. I didn't know she collected ambitious guys like trophies, feeding their egos just enough to keep them hooked. I didn't know that pride, once fed, becomes an addiction that devours everything good in. I didn't know that the medal I dreamed of since childhood would become the symbol of the day I lost everything that actually mattered. All I knew was that for the first time in my, someone saw me as exceptional. And I was willing to betray the person who loved me most to keep feeling that way. The next morning Emma was distant and cold. This was a mistake, she said, already checking her phone for other messages. I think we should keep things professional. I drove home in a daze, the taste of betrayal bitter in my mouth, knowing I'd destroyed my relationship for someone who'd already moved on to her next conquest. Sarah was making pancakes when I walked in, still wearing yesterday's clothes. She looked with the smile that used to make my whole day brighter. How was late night at the office, honey? I should have confessed right then. Should have fallen to my knees and begged for forgiveness. Instead I smiled back and lied again. Just another boring project meeting. She my cheek and handed me a plate. I'm so proud of how hard work. Most girlfriends would complain about the long hours, but I know we're building something amazing. That's when I realized the true cost of my pride. I hadn't just cheated on Sarah. I'd cheated on the person who believed in me before anyone else did. Who loved me when I was struggling, who celebrated my victories as if they were her own. I traded unconditional love for conditional admiration and now I had neither. Living with the secret felt like carrying it in my chest. Every morning Sarah would me goodbye with complete trust. Every evening she'd ask about my day with genuine interest. Every night she'd curl next to me, safe in the belief that I was the man she thought I was. I wasn't. For 2 weeks I told it was just a mistake. One terrible night I could bury and forget. Emma had made it clear we were done, barely acknowledging me at industry events. I into work, trying to drown the guilt in spreadsheets and project deadlines. Sarah noticed I was distant, of course she did. After 4 years together, she could read my moods like her favorite book. We've been different since the award ceremony, she said one Thursday night, setting down her tea and studying my face. Did something happen at work? Can talk to me about anything. The sincerity in her voice nearly broke me. Here was my chance to come clean, to confess and hope her love was strong enough to survive my betrayal. Instead I deflected, just stressed about the Henderson project. Big client, know how it is. She nodded, accepting my lie because she'd never had reason not to trust me. That trust felt like a twisting in my gut. But pride is a master of self-preservation. It whispered that confessing would only hurt, that what she didn't know couldn't destroy our relationship. That I could be a better man going forward without shattering her world with the truth. Pride told me I was protecting her. Really, I was protecting from facing who I'd become. The went off on a Tuesday. I was in a client meeting when my phone started buzzing. Sarah then again, then a third time. She never called during work hours unless it was an emergency. I stepped out to call her back and the sound that greeted me wasn't Sarah's voice. It was something broken, raw, barely recognizable as human. How could, she whispered, how could do this to me? My turn to ice. Sarah, what are talking about? Emma Chen posted on her Instagram story. Some throwback to her industry connections from last month. Or in the background of 3 different photos, and in one of them, her voice cracked. In one of them, hand is on her waist and are looking at her like used to look at me. The room spun. I'd been so careful about deleting messages covering tracks, but I'd forgotten about other people's social media, the networking event photos. The casual shots Emma had taken that night. Sarah, I can explain. Can. Her laugh was bitter, hollow. Can explain why my best friend Jess just called to ask if we broke because she saw with another woman. Can explain why I'm sitting here looking at photos that tell a story I thought was impossible. I opened my mouth, but no words came. What could I say? That it meant nothing, that I was on pride and praise, that I weigh 4 years of love for one night with someone who didn't even remember my last name. I'm coming home, she said. And when I get there, better be gone. The line went dead. I drove home in a panic, rehearsing apologies I knew her. Sarah's car was already in the driveway. Through the window, I could see her sitting on our couch surrounded by photo albums and mementos from our relationship. She didn't look when I walked in. Just kept staring at a picture of us from last Christmas, both of us laughing at something her nephew had said. For years, she said quietly. For years of believing I knew who were. Sarah, please. It was one mistake, one night. It meant nothing. She finally looked at me and I saw something in her eyes. The warmth, the trust, the love that had been my constant for so long. Gone, meant nothing to. Her voice was eerily calm. My trust meant nothing. Our future meant nothing. I meant nothing. That's not what because it meant everything to me. She stood, and I noticed she was wearing the dress she'd bought for my award ceremony. The one she never got to wear because she was sick. I spent 4 years planning our together. I turned down a job in Seattle because said wanted to build something here. I postponed graduate school cause needed support during startup phase. Each word hit like a physical. Sarah had sacrificed so much for us, for me, and I'd repaid her loyalty with the worst kind of betrayal. I even bought the ring. She continued, her voice breaking. Did know that. I was going to propose to next month. On the anniversary of our first date. Because I was tired of waiting for to realize what we had was worth fighting for. The room tilted. Sarah was going to propose. While I was planning to propose to her. While I was busy throwing our relationship away for a few hours of feeling special. She pulled a small velvet box from her purse and set it on the coffee table between us. I guess I was the only one who thought what we had was forever. I reached for her, desperate. Sarah, please. I made a horrible mistake. She stepped back like I'd struck her. Don't dare say love me. Love doesn't do what did. Love doesn't throw away 4 years for a stranger. Love doesn't lie and sneak around and delete messages. How did? Phone back to our shared laptop. I saw everything. Every message, every deleted conversation, every lie told me while we're falling for someone else. The shame crashed over me like a tsunami. Not only had she seen the affair, she'd seen the emotional betrayal that came before it. The weeks of intimate conversations with Emma while I grew cold and distant with her. She was just telling me what I wanted to hear. I said desperately. I got caught in feeling important. And I wasn't enough. It wasn't a question. My love wasn't enough. My support wasn't enough. 4 years of choosing every single day wasn't enough. She was right. That was the part that deepest. I'd had everything a man could want in a partner, and I'd thrown it away cause my ego needed feeding. The worst part, Sarah continued, her voice growing stronger with each word, is that I would have come to me right away. If been honest, if Dee fought for us. I would have tried to work through it. Past tense. Would have. The finality of it hit me like a punch to the chest. But didn't. Came home and lied to my face. Let me make breakfast while still smelled like her perfume. Watch me plan our future while I'd already destroyed it. She picked her purse and headed for the door. Where are going? To my sister's. I'll come back for my things when we're at work. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't show where I work or where I live. We're done. Sarah, wait. She turned back one last time, and the look in her eyes wasn't anger anymore. It was pity. I hope she was worth it, she said. I hope those few hours of feeling special were worth losing someone who loved when had nothing, who believed in when no one else did. Who would have spent the rest of her choosing point? The door closed behind her with a soft click that sounded like the end of everything good in my. I stood in our living room, surrounded by 4 years of shared memories, holding a ring she'd bought to promise me forever, knowing I'd destroyed my chance at happiness for a woman who'd forgotten my name before the sun came. The medal sat on the mantel where I'd proudly displayed it, gleaming gold in the afternoon light. The thing I'd dreamed of since childhood, the recognition I'd craved my entire. It felt like the most expensive mistake I'd ever made. 6 months later, I'm writing this from a studio apartment that smells like regret and instant coffee. The medal that started it all sits in a drawer now, buried under unpaid bills and job rejection letters. Want to know what happens after destroy the best thing and I'll tell. Everything falls apart. Slowly, then all at once. Sarah kept her word. She never called, never texted, never gave me a chance to grovel my way back into her good graces. Her sister blocked me on everything. Her friends crossed the street when they saw me coming. I became a ghost in my own city, haunting the places we used to go together. But Sarah didn't just disappear quietly. She had friends, family, coworkers who loved her. And when someone that good gets that badly, people notice. Word spread through our social circle like wildfire. At first it was whispers, pitying looks at the grocery store, invitations to parties that mysteriously got lost in the mail. Then it got worse. My company's annual retreat was 2 months after Sarah left. I walked into the hotel bar thinking I could network, maybe make some new connections, rebuild my reputation. The conversation stopped when I entered, literally stopped. 23 colleagues, people I'd worked with for 3 years, just stared at me like I was radioactive. Marcus from accounting finally broke the silence. Heard about and Sarah. Rough stuff, man. We just grew apart. I lied, the words tasting like ash. Really? Jennifer from Air raised an eyebrow. Because Sarah's cousin works in our marketing department. Different story made its way through the office. My stomach dropped. Sarah's cousin. I'd forgotten about her connection to my workplace. Look, I started, but Jennifer was already walking away. Some things can't be explained away, David. Some mistakes follow, bot. She was right. By Monday morning, everyone knew. The guy who won the big award and away his relationship for one night. The cautionary tale whispered in break rooms and happy hour conversations. My boss called me into his office a week later. I need to talk to about conduct. He said, not meeting my eyes. My work has been excellent. My reviews. This isn't about work performance. It's about character. 3 clients have specifically requested not to work with after hearing about personal situation. They don't feel comfortable with someone they see as untrustworthy handling their accounts. Untrustworthy. The word hit like a physical. What happens in my personal shouldn't affect. When work and client relations, everything affects professional reputation. I'm sorry, David. We're gonna have to let go. I lost my job because I lost Sarah's trust. Lost my income because I lost my integrity. Lost my future because I couldn't appreciate my present. The apartment came next. Without Sarah's income, I couldn't afford our place. I packed 4 years of shared memories into boxes, dividing a we'd built together. Her books, her coffee mug collection, the throw pillows she'd bought to make our place feel like home. She came for her things on a Tuesday while I was at my temp job. Left my engagement ring on the kitchen counter with a note. I hope someday understand what traded this for. Emma, meanwhile, had moved on completely. I saw her at an industry event 3 months later, laughing with some hotshot from Google, collecting another ambitious man for her collection. She didn't even recognize me when we made eye contact. I'd blown my for someone who'd forgotten I existed. Dating became impossible. Our city's professional scene is small and word travels fast. Every woman I met eventually heard the story. Some were direct about it. Oh, the guy who cheated on Sarah Mitchell. Yeah, no thanks. Others were more subtle, agreeing to coffee then never responding to follow texts. The ones who did give me a chance would invariably ask, so what happened with last relationship? What could I say? That I got on praise and away 4 years of love for one night of feeling special. That I was so hungry for recognition that I betrayed the person who loved me most. The truth made me sound pathetic. Lies made me sound worse. So I stopped trying. Stopped going to events. Stopped pretending I had anything to offer anyone. Sarah, on the other hand, flourished. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd gotten that promotion at work. Bought a condo downtown. Started dating someone new, a pediatric surgeon who apparently worshipped the ground she walked on. He looks at her like she hung the moon. Her former coworker told someone at a coffee shop where I was eavesdropping like the pathetic shell of a man I'd become. Never seen her so happy. Guess she found someone who knows what he has. Someone who knows what he has. The words haunted me for weeks. I saw them together once by accident at the farmer's market we used to visit every Saturday. Sarah was laughing at something he'd said, the real laugh I used to love, not the polite chuckle she'd give my mediocre jokes. He was holding her hand like it was precious. Looking at her like she was the most fascinating person in the room. Treating her the way I should have all along. She saw me watching and her smile faded. For just a moment, our eyes met across the crowd. I raised my hand in a tentative wave, hoping for what? Forgiveness, a sign that someday we might be friends. She turned away and pulled her boyfriend closer. The message was clear, I was part of a past she'd moved beyond. That's when I truly understood what I'd lost. Not just Sarah, but the person I used to be when I was with her. The man who had someone believe in him unconditionally. The man who was someone's first choice, someone's safe harbor, someone's forever. I traded all of that for one night of feeling important to a stranger. The worst part isn't the loneliness, though it's crushing. It isn't the professional exile, though it isn't even the knowledge that Sarah is happy with someone better than me, though it keeps me at night. The worst part is looking in the mirror and knowing that I'm exactly the kind of man I used to judge. The kind who promises forever then breaks it for temporary gratification. The kind who takes love for granted until it's gone. The kind who destroys something beautiful because his ego was more important than his integrity. I won that medal because I was smart enough to solve complex engineering problems. But I was too to realize that having someone love unconditionally is the rarest achievement of all. 2 to understand that pride without loyalty is just selfishness with better marketing. 2 to know that the recognition I craved meant nothing without someone who truly knew me to share it with. I kept telling I deserved better than Sarah, that I was meant for someone who matched my ambition and intellect. But the truth I can't escape is simpler and more brutal. Sarah deserved better than me and now she has it. The medal sits in my drawer now, tarnished and forgotten, a reminder that sometimes getting everything thought wanted cost everything actually needed. And me. I'm just another cautionary tale about what happens when pride becomes more important than promises. Another man who learned too late that being loved by a good woman is worth more than being envied by strangers.